And in the middles, it conduces your practice with a diligence in action. Of course, there is action when we are thinking about the impermanent, and then is the benefit for the impermanent. We need to accomplish the authentic Dharma, authentic way. And the attitude of the authentic Dharma is compassion, and there is such aspiration and deeply concerning to the sentient beings' compassions. And also conduct, it is related to the six transcendent of the Pajin Paramatas. And when you are practicing this six transcendent of the Pajin Paramatas, of course you need to put a little bit diligently put effort, like generosities and discipline, patience, diligent, meditative concentration, wisdoms, so on. In the path, there is different meditations, different is when you practice authentic Dharma. And then there this kind of complications, actions, and you are not kind of disturbed. You can easily to bear, easily to go through diligently. And that is also is maybe realization of the impermanence comes from that. And then in the end, it helps you practice with the diligent. That is the insatiable. And insatiable is like a kind of the not return into the like a samsaric place. And once you understood the impermanent, and after you decided to practice Dharma, maybe you go to in the solitude place, or you take the path of the Dharma, or the path of the Buddhas, and you have determined mind, want to follow, want to practice. But it's like there's something is like, I have very much interest to do something worldly things. Maybe I want to do practice to business. Maybe I want to do some worldly things different. And like, 2 years I want to go to retreat, but after 2 years, maybe I want to come back. Surely after the 6 years, I will go back. Then I can to work with, I can to follow up, I can to do something. This kind of to look back and want to go back, maybe still that kind of clinging, the samsaric pleasure, samsaric entertainment. And this kind of, then it's like a kind of return again and again and again. And like this, is not a kind of insatiable, and it is satiable. And then it's like once you have understanding of the impermanent, and everything is a transitoriness, and you decided to practice Dharma, or you are going to meditate on something permanent in the pith instructions, doing the six transcendent, it is a never ever you return. As even that you need to go any kind of under hardships, you never care. It's like doing some positive things. Never you return to continue and to continue to practice. And also it's like you never return into the samsara, your rebirth. You never return your thoughts through the samsaric ideas. And bodily, verbally, mentally, it's really you kind of not in kind of insatiably, and go to the nirvana continually, and to be enter the enlightenment. After the, of course, enlightenment, and then you return or not return. There's no existence this kind of, and like this. And also Patamba Sangis, it says like this. At first, to be fully convinced of the impermanent, make you take up the Dharma. It is exactly the same as the before this TWOMPT saying. And in the middle, it is whip up your diligence. And like kind of when you be the diligent, and your diligent continue to be diligent, to develop diligently to practice Dharma. And you need to the horse of the diligent, you need like kind of special whips, and to whip up on this diligent horse, what you doing things, to be the like champion or the winner and first. And that is the best whipper. It's like the impermanence. When you like kind of have the great whip of the impermanent, and then it's like to, how do you say it? Really your diligent is become the unshakable, and your diligent is really stable and stability, and to make the really like what you do, the virtue things, make completely accomplishment. And then in the end, it is bring you to the realization Dharmakaya. And realization of the Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya is like kind of the ultimate, like a body, ultimate body. It is difficult to say it's a form, shape, color, dimensions. And this is like kind of our primordial Dharmakaya. Primordial Dharmakaya means primordially our own, this kind of the Buddha natures permeated the all, everything. And also this one is, and from the Dharmakayas, and there is a different different kayas, Sambhoga kayas, Namana kayas, and also it's like through that maybe different form, shape, and color, many different ways, like after. Like we can to say is the Nirmanakayas, there's different type of the Nirmanakayas. You already studied 5 type of the Nirmanakayas. Varieties of the Nirmanakayas is there's no certainty to say is human form or the animals form, or it's like a color yellow, blue, red or something. You cannot to say it's like that. But the meaning of the Dharmakaya, it is the ultimate reality, ultimate phenomena. And that is like a kind of the essential our mind is. It is a realization, realize that Dharmakaya means. For example, now, presently, do we have Dharmakaya? Yes, Dharmakaya we have right now. And what does it mean? This Dharmakaya means, for example, Dharma is the phenomena, and Kaya is the like many collected like things are like kind of the our body is a collected collection of the 5 aggregations, and like this Kaya is like many together. So what do you mean? Is a Dharma Kaya, and this meaning is that the body of our primordial, this our Buddha natures. Now is how I can to have. Yes, you can to have. If without that, you become the handicap. You cannot to be survive. You cannot to continue. And this is like what is this principle, our mind, principle, our body, principle is the verb. And there as you can to the subtle the body, speech, mind, and the raw core body, speech, mind. From the subtle body, speech, mind is to like kind of the developed, it's like kind of negative way to develop rough, contaminated. It comes from that, of course. And that one is like now, our like present, current, our body, speech, mind. But itself is essential nature of the Dharmakaya. Body has also the Dharmakaya, and speech also Dharmakaya. Mind also have there's Dharmakaya. This subtle seed into in each body, speech, mind there is. And according to that, then is we have a negative verb, negative positive verb, positive verb, negative body, the positive verb, the body, and the positive mind, negative mind. It's like this. We can use positive body, speech, mind, negative body, speech, mind. This alternation or alternate, it is the confirmed this principle based universal, the ground of the Dharmakaya, of our mind, our like kind of the Buddha nature. This nature is what is you call the Dharmakaya, means it's the foundation of the phenomena, the source of the phenomena, and the source of our 5 consciousness, 5 aggregates, and all the limbs, body, speech, comes from that. And therefore, this is the source of this. Then you can call the Kaya and the Dharmakaya. And this is, we need to realize it. And realize that then what afterward it is, maybe it's the movement is become like this. When you are talking about the enlightenment, in the essence nature of this Dharmakaya's perspective, there's enlightenment or not enlightenment, maybe you don't need to say. Probably in the future, when you study more philosophies, how it is, maybe you will know like this. But it's like, I'm just to say, it's like currently, when you are like be enlightenment, means it's like that moment, all the movement is the positive. Maybe when we be in the samsara, all the movement is more negative. The positive samsara and nirvana, I think it's like you can to say, maybe it's someone say maybe it's wrong, but I'm saying it's like a kind of the relatively too easily to say like this. Yesterday also in the past, I like said once, when you have like kind of negative mind, that moment you are angry, hated, aversion, conflict. When you imitate that moment, you look in this period, it's really negative mind. Even you searching some positives, it's difficult to find. Then it's like, this is the samsara. Otherwise, the samsara is not existence. When you're angry, turmoil into your mind, maybe suffering, maybe anxiety, maybe nervous, depressed. Something is like this kind of during durations. How long? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 month? How long? And during these durations, we are completely in the samsara. And that moment is even you can to look this the mind. There's almost no positive things. And that moment, there's the essence of nature mind, the Dharmakayas, but mind is not negative, no fixated, absolutely. It's very much changeable. Certainly you changed. Maybe your mind has become more compassion, cheerful. You changed automatically or yourself to change and really happy. And that moment you look, there is negative thoughts. There's no negative, only these periods, maybe 1-2 hours, 1 day, 2 days, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe forever. And this perspective, enlightenment, means certainly you recognize this, the great Dharmakaya, sameness, Dharmakaya primordials, and all the movement is become the positive. Then there's no durations, forever movement is this. And then is what you need. What do you think? This is beyond already the essential mind. Dharmakaya is go beyond the samsara, nirvana. There is nothing kind of the left, and then no kind of trade of the patterns, and not kind of putting again negative like the habitual forming, imprinting nothing. There's nothing left. All the durations, there's no maybe no existent duration. Forever is like positive thoughts. And there is such enlightened activities. Afterward, maybe it's like your activities enlightened, positive Dharmakaya, positive Nirmanakaya, positive many different varieties of the coming to think. Maybe it's just each moment, your energy, your enlightened activities, maybe manifestation, your emanations, such there, but it's your perspective. There is, maybe it's like your perspective is there's nothing kind of the samsaric suffering, samsaric influence, samsaric damages, samsaric like kind of activities. But in the other's perspective, whatever they needed, maybe it's like you will become like this. Maybe it's like even you can to say it's like, oh, I need maybe some sentient beings. I need one quiet, all the times quiet person. Maybe one enlightened is to emanate, there is a coming. Maybe you want to cry. As I'm an emanation of the cried. How is emanations cries? Maybe this is the according to your sentient beings' wish. According to sentient beings is like a, how do we say, it's like a wish, or it's like a karma like this. But in your perspective, then this is we can do. Therefore, it's like finally we need of the radiant Dharmakayas. Radiant Dharmakaya means it's the Dharmakaya itself has such radiant luminosity. For example, in the Uttara Tantra, a perfect Buddha is radiant. Perfect Buddha is the radiant. That means it's like the Buddha nature is such, there's radiance of the luminous, how do you say, the kind of the benefit or kind of the forms, kind of the manifestation you can to say. Radiant Dharmakaya is radiant of the Sambhogakaya. Radiance of the Dharmakaya is like Namanikaya. The Namanikaya is radiance of any different shape, color, and like this. In the reality, 5 Buddha families. Even the one person's mind is can't to produce, because our essential, this mind, the mind is Dharmakaya itself. There is the seed of the, like kind of the 5 aggregations, 5 consciousness, 5 Buddha families, 5 like wisdoms. Everything is there like this. Like sometimes there is giving the examples, like the principal mind is like crystals. Crystal is like something touch the light. There's like produce the so different luminosities, yellow, green, blue, everything. But then it's like if you look at the crystal itself, how you can to say it is not yellow. Of course, we can to say it's a white, but white also exaggerate. Crystal is the crystal. There's you can't find, but this ability, it is like qualities is like this. Therefore, we can to realize that our own and Dharmakaya. And then it's like unless you feel this sincere conviction in the principle of impermanence, any teaching you might think you have received and put into practice will just make you more and more impervious to the Dharma. And also it's like this, they translate impervious to the, I think it's impervious to the Dharma. Sometimes hypocritical practitioner of Dharma. It is like kind of the artificial, really if you don't, sorry. It's pigeons coming into my nose. And if we are not really to realization of the impermanent, maybe it's we need realization of impermanent, really like kind of uncontrived realization you can to say. Conviction lead that this principle of the realization of the impermanent, confirmly and like this. And also maybe it's sometimes to times we can to concern about the impermanent of the just like a process of the death. And like one is like the impermanent process, it's to status. No one's else relative or the possessions which like we are the so like kind of the attached to them. But in that moment, they cannot share our like kind of the impermanent. They cannot to be like with us during the impermanent. They cannot be able to follow us after this impermanence. And also we are needed to set out on the road to the next life. Absolutely, it is the truth. And we need to naked and empty-handed. We will not be able to the like kind of the assisting them and like a burden of all the negative actions here. Maybe we have the big bag of the negative deeds and difficult to carry. And when we are journey, take in the next road, maybe any kind of there is crafts, aircraft, maybe any vehicles. but maybe I don't know, but maybe our own self. And this big bag of the negative sack, and we need to carry into our back. It is not very good. We have accumulated for the, like maybe sake of the parents, sake of the partner, sake of the relative, sake of the life. Maybe it's like many different perspectives of the sex. And then it's like at that moment, what can we do? It's like, and we cannot choose. We need to shoot to live from in this life. And in the Karma Limbas, there's Karma Limbas, and the Pardo instruction says, and like someone's dying, someone's coming in the behind the pillar, and says, fortunate. Now it's that you at time need to departure in from this. You should cut up that you're clinging to in this world. And now you look, your disappearances fade away. And now you need to go to the next your road. And this is in life, whatever you collect, you cannot to carry, you cannot to take with you. Even the needles, stings, like kind of symbolist, any kind of piece of the croissants, impossible. Maybe in this life you have such good families, wonderful, beautiful family, great relatives, great country, great like people, but nobody cannot to companion with you. And now it is really the time. There's no choice. Even the like it's time is arrived, the impermanent. Even the Buddha's coming to you, how he can to propose, how do you say, like the postpone, or to make the delayed, or maybe it's like to add to your life. Even this person's added, finally you need to go. Maybe someone's to be the life of millions, trillions, but finally it's necessary need to go to die. But there's no choice. You should to yourself and depart necessarily to think about next your route. If you have some pity instructions, it's a time to use. And now it's like it goes with you and negative your back or the positive your back. Do you have the positive back? And it's a help to you. This is your picnic, this is your food, this is your drink. And negative backs, you have all everything kind of positive cause. And this you rely on this, then it's like this. And like this, even the like you can to say, you have the like you done all the only in your life negative actions, and like kind of that is really to be the able to harm into you, but it's in the externally in this world, and during the impermanence, even the whole this universe is your enemies. They cannot to harm to you, but really harmer it is your negative actions. And that time is like who can to help to you, and even all the whole in the universe is your family friend. But at that moment they cannot to help. Really, your helper of the families is the positive virtues, and it's like compassion. That is the hostile to us in the like the next life, and this kind of like the concerning. It is the truth. One day it's like this kind of situations. What can we do? Who can to help? And it's like this moment we can to say, maybe I want to more keep in these appearances. I love these appearances. I want to be in these appearances. Look, this wonderful word running in my happiness in my mind. How I can to live from this wonderful word, but no choice. We need to go, and we need to depart. And that moment is only as like support or hostile to help to us. It is the virtue, and it is the positive. It is like the meditation of the true nature of the realities, and that is the very important. And there is the, maybe I'm too late. Okay, maybe we can to stop there. Okay, Patambas connotation. So on the Tom Chezi Fanya, Tom Nini Buddha Nampamji, Teshe Ganan Chivalam.